You know, a lot of people think that Faye's PvP mode is pretty cancer, but to be honest, it's not even that bad. They're just exaggerating. Well, I guess it depends on who you're up against. So if you still haven't heard or you just don't even play this game, Fire Emblem Heroes added a real-time player versus player mode, and man, is it fun and interesting. For me at least, I love playing games competitively and I'm always looking forward to test my skills against anyone. But the same cannot be said for everyone out there, especially when it comes to a gacha game where people can have an advantage over others by simply spending more money. Not only that, but battling in this mode is way different than the usual Fire Emblem Heroes experience. The goal in Summoner Duels is to beat your opponent by either taking down their entire team or having more points than them by the end of the match. You can earn points by either killing your opponent's units or having at least 2 more heroes than them on the capture field by the end of the turn. So you do have multiple ways of winning in this game, which is pretty cool. But the only problem is that playing this mode isn't as cool. In fact, it's stressful. Like most of the time in Faye, beating a level is pretty simple. All you gotta do is just throw out your units at the enemy without a care in the world. Even for the hardest difficulties, you can just simply initiate with your heavy hitters and then send in your tank for the enemy phase. And if you have a unit that can both deal a lot of damage while receiving no damage themselves, just auto battle. Even the trash AI will make you win. The few modes I can think of that require some thinking are the Infernal Map because of the crazy number of enemies they have and how inflated their stats are, Ether Raids since you are fighting a team made by an actual player, and Arena since, just like in Ether Raids, you will be fighting some BS units that don't usually appear in normal maps. But even then, battling these modes isn't too hard. Like for the legendary and mythic maps, it's just trial and error until you succeed. Or just watch a free-to-play guide. For Arena, you can just abuse the AI and most of the time, the team you're fighting should be around the same level as yours. And in Ether Raids, I don't even know. I don't even play this mode. Oh yeah, wait, you can just use auto dispatch. But you're not even playing the game at this point. Anyways, fighting in Summoner Duels is very different from all this. The thing is, both you and your opponent are trying to win. Well, actually, no, some people do resort to just surrendering since that is a quicker way to farm. Anyways, the point is, you're not fighting some random AI. You're fighting an actual human who knows how to use the heroes at their disposal, meaning that they know how to properly position them in the battlefield and they probably have an optimal build equipped. For example, Yuri, in the PvP modes, he's just annoying. All the AI does is spam foul play without thinking. But in Summoner Duels, the Yuris, they're built different. They're annoying, yeah, but they also do damage now. Mostly because of the player's better control of the character and the better build. They either have him equipped with an AoE skill or lethality. Both builds are very intimidating, especially with his crazy movement. Another type of unit that gets buffed when being controlled by an actual player are the dancers. These support units were always good by default since refreshing an action for a teammate is just, good. However, it's still pretty easy to deal with them when it's being used by an AI. Sometimes they dance a unit that's not even a threat to you, or you can just make them attack you, and most dancers are very frail. In Summoner Duels though, they're well used. First of all, they're probably being protected by a save unit, so that patches up their weak endurance, and second of all, they're controlled by a player. They get to decide both who to dance and when to dance, which is very crucial. I hate to admit it, but I've been baited so many times by a dancer. Like, I'd look at the map and be like, oh yeah, this spot seems safe. My guy already moved his units. But nope, a dance happens and I'm dead. Another type of unit that is pretty good in the hands of a human are any heroes with movement type skills. The AI is trash when it comes to repositioning or smiting a character. But when it's a player that's doing it, you gotta make sure you're paying attention. Just like with the dancers, the player gets to choose when they're repositioning and when they're doing it. That means you'll probably have to deal with players using hit and run strats or people who use movement skills to gain extra range when you least expect it. It also gets worse when you're up against characters that have a special movement skill. These two, they're so good and so annoying. I can't complain though since I do use Valentine Lucina on my main team. The thing about Lucina and Chrom's movement skill is that it puts a lot of pressure on you. It keeps you on your toes since you have to pay attention on the potential spot Lucina and Chrom might take. And also, it stalls a turn. So as Lucina, one thing I like to do is just swap back and forth, just to force my opponent to make a move and so that I can analyze what they're doing. It's pretty lame, but it's pretty good. By doing this, you'll be able to save an action for your hard-hitting units while your opponents will not have anyone that can move. The same thing can be done with duo and harmonic skills, which I completely forgot about once and that cost me the game. Still, even though you have to fight against plenty of annoying units, this game mode is pretty fun. For me, just because I get to fight an actual person. It's always interesting to see what kind of player I'm up against and what is their playstyle. Because everyone plays differently, it's especially satisfying when you come across a theme team. Although rare, I have had players that make a team based on one specific Fire Emblem game or character, and it's always a treat to see. It's also cool seeing the mains of your opponents. When playing the game, you'll definitely find people with a niche or rare +10 unit. Like damn, you actually like this character too? My man. However, not every team sparks joy. Whether you like it or not, you will be paired against someone that has a well-built and optimized team. Here are some examples I faced when playing the game. Gimmick teams are very niche and I don't come across them too often, but when I do, I either beat them with ease or they're the ones that completely destroy me. These types of teams rely on one core mechanic and they make the most out of it. So if you do not have a counter, you're done for. One example are the Vantage Teams. I've mainly seen Paula being used as the core for this comp. Basically with your team, you lower Paula's health to be underneath the Vantage threshold. Then you buff her to the max and just launch her into the enemy team. Because she runs this encounter for this comp, she'd be able to sweep the whole field. So as long as you have some sort of fire sweep, wind sweep, or a hardy bearing unit, you should be fine. Actually, plenty of teams uses a similar tactic to the Vantage Paula squad. You just get one hyper carry unit that will deal all the damage, bring in as many supports as you need, then the remaining spot is a flexible unit that's either a tank or a nuker. Most of the time, the supports are legendary Eliwood for that sweet bonus doubler, and legendary Azure for the movement and free stat boost. But obviously, I mean, it's flexible, it can be anyone you want, anyone that can buff, pretty much. I've also faced a player that stacked multiple Pathfinders and paired it with legendary Lucina. And holy crap, the amount of map control they had and the pressure they were giving was insane. I did not win that game. Anyways, you don't need to worry too much about these sort of team comps since most of the time, unless I was lucky, I was facing your standard all-rounder team. No niche, no bullshit, just straight up a solid squad that covers both offense and defense. It usually consists of a save tank, a dancer, and then 3 heroes of your choice that can deal a lot of damage, and bonus points if they have Canto. Although this is just a generalization, to be honest, I fought people who don't use a save tank and some that don't use a dancer. The choice is all yours, and anything works as long as you're having fun. For example, my team, I love all my units. Oh, we should change the name because this is, yeah. As I was saying, these characters are some of my favorite in the series, and I'm lucky that they're more than good enough to keep up with the meta. Well, actually, I say they keep up, but some of them are the meta. On their own, they're all amazing units, and I just placed them in my team without much of a thought. Legendary Violet is my captain just because I wanted to raise up her favor level before her Brave version comes out since I did vote for her in Choose Your Legends. Also, she makes a good use of the captain skill since she has Drive Guard, so she's a good support, she hits hard, and she's very hard to predict because of the mobility granted from her C skill. So yeah, she's an amazing unit. Next up we have Valentine Lucina. She's also an amazing unit, both tanky and fast. Also her movement skill, I mean, already mentioned that, but future vision, it's broken. I mean, positioning, has support, utility, you could stall a turn. Amazing, she's good. She's really good. Another tank I have is Ascended Merida. She's deceptively bulky and she's very fast. And her C skill does catch people off guard with it, which is always fun to see. Kagero is my next unit and she mostly covers the same role as Violet, which is do damage. And lastly, we have Plumeria, my favorite hero's OC. She's a very good dancer, she debuffs the enemies and buffs her teammates at the same time. Also, she can score a few kills on like the frail characters thanks to her high attack stat, which is awesome. Now this squad is not unbeatable, in fact far from it. Most of my matches are close and I usually win thanks to my opponents doing misplays. But I still love this team and I also love this game mode. Actually not really, Summer Duels is fun, S is also cool since you can block the teams you don't want to face, but R?
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Hey, thank you so much for watching until the end video, and please like, comment, and God, that sounds so weird. I'm not gonna get used to this. Anyways, follow my Twitter too, and I just wanted to mention that this type of video is probably not gonna age well since PvP, gacha games, you know, power creep, it's always gonna change. The meta is never gonna be the same. Especially when I was editing this video, Summer Thor just got announced, and Exposure, that looks like a busted skill. So yeah, hopefully by the time you're watching this, nothing sounds too weird. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.